Agriculture is no longer simply the production of food for our tables. There's also a new industry that it's breaking through with, and this is the production of biofuels, or the energy industry. According to the United States Energy Information Administration, 95% of the gasoline used in the United States every year is actually supplemented with 10% corn ethanol. And this actually reduces the octane level, or the amount of pollution that's put into the air. My name is Emma Maddock, and the issue that I'm going to be talking about today is the issue of agricultural waste and the possibility of turning this waste into cellulosic ethanol. I've conducted a research project on the various pre-treatments of wheat straw and the production of cellulosic ethanol, and I'm just going to tell you why this research is so important. According to the Energy Alternative Sources magazine, 323 million tons of waste, industrial waste and agricultural waste, is actually created every year in the United States. Much of this waste is actually crop residue, and when it's burned from the field, there is no longer any protection from erosion, and so this is concerning to the farmer. And also there's a lot of tropospheric methane, according to the Journal of Biosciences by Oxford, that's being released into the environment, and it's taking away the ability of the atmosphere to be protected from the sun. And so corn ethanol is very competitive because we have to use corn for feedstuff for animals as well as our own human consumption. And so we don't want to be totally reliant on corn to be creating this ethanol. And so if we could use these crop residues in order to create 323 million tons of it in order to create some sort of cellulosic ethanol, we would have much more energy available to us to use. But the issue is that cellulose is really hard to break down. 40% of the cell walls of plants is actually the cellulose molecules, and it's really hard to break those down because they're bundled up together, and in order to get them apart, we must pre-treat them and get to the sugars, which can then be fermented into this cellulosic ethanol. There's a lot of research being done on the pre-treatments because this is what is really going to be the driving force in the cellulosic ethanol part of the energy industry in order to be creating this out of the waste. And so currently, cellulosic ethanol is being produced on a very minimal level with only 100 million gallons being produced a year. And that is a really big number, but you can compare this to the figure of 284 million gallons being used of natural gas every single day. So 100 million gallons a year to 284 million gallons a day. And so it's a very low production level right now because we don't know how to economically be breaking down this cellulose. And so today I've talked about the issue of agricultural waste and the possibility of turning it into cellulosic ethanol. The economical production of cellulosic ethanol would greatly impact the agricultural industry in that it would allow for the industry to have a cycle of fuel use, fuel production, and then return. Biofuels are the future because we don't have an infinite oil and coal supply, but we do have an infinite abundance of cellulose. And so cellulosic ethanol is the answer to the world's future alternative fuel needs. Thank you.